Hey everybody, my name is Michael Melugin and I run the Handwritten Studio. I am a mixed media artist based in Los Angeles and I really want to get more into designing movie posters. So I decided to embark upon a new journey where I'm going to design my own poster for all of the Best Picture nominees for this year. I've designed posters here and there over the years, mostly for my own short films or for shorts that friends have directed, but I'm increasingly interested in doing it professionally, or at least getting commissions here and there if I can, and in order to do that, I need to build more of a portfolio. So I decided to start this self-imposed challenge to do 10 poster designs, one for every Best Picture nominee. So I'm just super excited to dive into this project and start making some posters. I am traditionally a filmmaker at heart and by trade, but I kind of moonlight as a graphic designer, illustrator, and fine artist, and this just seems like an excellent way to combine all of my passions. I am definitely a cinephile and kind of a movie nerd, so I have already seen all of the Best Picture nominees from 2024, and I'm getting really excited for the Oscars this year. I decided to start just alphabetically and go from the top, so I'm starting this series with A Complete Unknown, and I'm gonna dive into it now. Really where I started was, well, what kind of poster would I want to see out in the world if I were to head to my local cinema? What would I hope to see on the marquee? So I ended up finding this image of Timmy as Bob Dylan walking in the street that I just absolutely loved. I've seen this image throughout their marketing campaign over the past few months, and this is just such a stellar image. These colors were just really speaking to me, and I think spoke to the texture and tone of the story and that time period. So I really just started working from there. And it's funny how things unfold in design sometimes, because the first thing I did was go ahead and sample a color from this image and create my own palette that I could work with for the typography. After I did that, I ended up falling in love with this palette so much that I decided to design this little checkerboard, and I thought maybe I could use that for like a border around the entirety of the piece. After that, I dove in and added a guitar. I found an image of Bob Dylan's electric guitar. I placed that in there and was trying to kind of work it in with the color scheme and find a place for it, but really I kept just being frustrated that it didn't fit anywhere. Naturally, I wanted to kind of put it along his feet to make it look like he was standing on top of the guitar, but that just didn't really work out, and I think it was a nice lesson in being adaptable when you're designing. That's kind of obvious, but I think a lot of the times when we start out on a piece or on a design, we get really like locked into the original idea or the original vision that we had when we conceptualized it, and then we don't leave ourselves open to pivoting, because in the end I just got rid of that guitar because it wasn't really working and it wasn't adding anything. It was just kind of in the way, so I got rid of it. From there, I dove into the fun part, which is the typography. I wanted to go ahead and make something that felt kind of modern and also retro at the same time. So I found this font that I thought was really working for me. I made Timmy Chalamet nice and big to, really anchor things in that top left corner with him. He's obviously the star, he's the main attraction here, he's the one on the poster, so I just wanted to start there, keep it simple, stupid. And then from there, the design really kind of just becomes like a puzzle, and I really love playing the game of like, well, if his name is big over here, how do we find a bit of balance? And I really liked the way that that unfolded with his name really big over here and the other characters a bit smaller off to the side. The whole thing felt just a bit more balanced, both visually and conceptually, by adding the rest of the supporting cast. And then I had a ton of fun with typing A Complete Unknown and ended up just stumbling upon this technique of doing the 3 different layers of it with the 3 different colors that I had established. That was yet again just kind of a happy accident. A lot of the time I duplicate a type layer before I make adjustments to it just to have a backup, and when I did that, I ended up with one on top of each other in 2 different colors, and I was like, wait a second, that might be the ticket right there. I really love how the Complete Unknown worked out, and then I stacked the A kind of off to the left to give this slightly more dynamic L shape instead of just having it say A Complete Unknown all in one line. I was really excited about that small decision. And then finally I was left with putting in the director's name. James Mangold is definitely an excellent director. He did get Oscar nominated this year, and I think that is completely understandable because of the excellent performances that he got out of Chalamet and also Monica Barbaro, who is not to be overlooked in my opinion. She is fantastic in this film. I honestly love this construction that I ended up finding with it saying Timothy Chalamet in James Mangold's A Complete Unknown. I kind of yearn for those days of yesteryear when posters were constructed like that. I miss that verbiage of so-and-so in so-and-so's film. I think that's just like kind of a classy way to phrase things, and I wanted to bring that back. Yet again, it was a kind of a micro decision to add a bit more of a vintage feel to this poster. And then I finished off the typography of this piece by pulling a little sneaky move and putting Chalamet's figure just ever so slightly in front of that S at the end of Mangold's. It's really a pretty simple trick that anybody can do. This is not rocket science, but I do think that it is just a small little tool in the toolkit to add a bit more dynamic movement and depth to your piece. And from there, I just kind of went wild and had some fun with the rest of this. As I said, I am definitely a cinephile and a nerd, so it was kind of fun to just go find like the Searchlight logo and the Rated R logo and play around with those and just decide where to put them. I wanted to maintain that sort of 1, 2, 3 color palette that I had established in the typography, and that's pretty much all there was to it with those elements at the bottom. And my final decision was whether to go back and use that sort of checkerboard border that I had developed at the beginning of the process, or to just abandon it. Because like I said, I abandoned the guitar and wasn't sure whether to abandon the border. I really liked the colors and I thought it added a bit of uniqueness, but in the end, when I put that border around all 4 sides, it just started to feel muddy and just too busy, really. It started to draw away from the figure of Chalamet and the typography that I had already fallen in love with. So instead of bailing on it, because I did like the uniqueness but I did not like the busyness, ended up compromising and went ahead and kept it on the top and the bottom and eliminated it on the left and the right. And there we have it. That is more or less my process for designing a poster for James Mangold's A Complete Unknown starring Timothée Chalamet. I honestly had just so much fun designing this piece, and I'm admittedly pretty happy with how it turned out. I kind of can't believe that I'm doing this and making this video right now, so if you've been watching, I really, truly, deeply appreciate it. Being an artist and living a creative life is so difficult these days, and it definitely involves putting yourself out there and being more vulnerable, and that is what I've been attempting to do with this video here that you've been watching. If you liked this and if you liked the poster that I designed, I would definitely appreciate a like and a follow or a subscribe and all of the things, or maybe drop me a comment and tell me what you thought of the piece. But if not, that's really okay too. I just appreciate your time, and I hope you're out there trying new things and pushing yourself creatively as well. Thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.